The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. I ask that you already subscribe to the channel, leave your like and share this word to evangelize as many brothers as possible. Lot and his family lived with Abraham in the land of Canaan. One day Abraham said to Lot, "There is not enough land here for all our animals. Please, let us separate. If you go one way, I will go the other way." Lot looked at that land. He saw that a very beautiful part of the country had water and plenty of pasture for its animals. It was the district of Jordan. Lot moved there with his family and animals. Finally, they stayed in the city of Sodom. According to the Old Testament, Sodom and Gomorrah were two cities situated by the Dead Sea in the Middle East. They were part of a group of 5 cities in the plain of Palestine, the Pentapolis, which included the cities of Adama, Seboim and Bala, the latter also called Segor, located somewhere near the Jordan. Suffered the divine punishment of their destruction by fire and brimstone, by the perverse and aberrant sexual behavior of their inhabitants. The nephew of the patriarch Abraham went to live in this city, and when he knew that it would be destroyed, he interceded with God. And Abraham drew near, and said, "Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?" Genesis 18 verses 23 to 25. For the first time, a human being challenges God on the concept of justice. Knowing about the impending destruction of Sodom and the cities of the Jordan Plain. It was the birth of dialogue with heaven, a discussion between God and man in the name of righteousness. Even though he had no involvement with the residents of the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, we see in a wonderful way that Abraham's fellowship and friendship with God led him to a deep love of neighbor. Abraham intercedes with God by asking if the presence of the righteous would not remove the judgment of the guilty. The Lord's answer was yes, but there were not even 10 righteous in Sodom. There was not even one righteous. Some Jewish writings emphasize the aspects of cruelty, hospitality with outsiders, greed, excessive material attachment, unprecedented wickedness with children, and unacceptable sexual immoralities practiced by the townspeople. But the main sins are linked to homosexuality, immorality, and sexual perversion. In chapter 19 of the book of Genesis it is written, "But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man, let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and ye to them as is good in your eyes, only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge, now will we deal worse with thee, than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. Genesis 19 verses 4 to 11. Lot had originally moved to the region near Sodom because of the potential for material prosperity it offered. Over time, he took up residence in the city itself. But Lot did not agree with the obscene practices of the men of the city, and they did not regard him as one of them, evidently because he and his family did not participate in their social life. Through the life of Lot we can see how much a servant of the Lord can lose by making wrong decisions and embarrassing himself with this world. He married a carnal woman and lived in an ungodly city for merely carnal reasons. He ended up losing his family, his testimony, and no doubt, any reward in heaven. While Lot's example stands as a warning, we must not forget that he was a just man. This makes him a warning. Even those who know Christ can make mistakes and cause much harm if they fail in their duty to watch and pray. Lot was so attached to his material possessions and to that city that even after being informed and hastened by the angels of God about the terrible punishment that would come upon the city, he still hesitated to leave. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. Genesis 19 verse 16. We must remember that a person can even have many flaws, defects and weaknesses, and yet be a true Christian. The crisis in Lot's life was the destruction of the city he loved, so he lingered on leaving the object of his love. We need to be mindful of the sin that tenaciously besets us. God, in his infinite faithfulness, will provide for his people crises and disappointments in order that the blessed person of his Son may be formed in us. Lot and his family were so attached that they were given clear orders to retreat and not to stop or look back. Yet your wife hesitated. Lot and his daughters obeyed, fleeing away from Sodom. They did not stop and did not look back. But Lot's wife disobeyed. Some distance from the city, she stopped and looked back. Lot's wife became a statue of salt. Lot's wife's heart never left Sodom. Because of her hesitation and delay, she was subjected to judgment, and was then covered with salt. It stands as a warning to those whose hearts are divided between fleeing from sin and seeking Christ. The destruction of the wicked brings no pleasure to the Lord, nor to his servants. Through his prophets and witnesses, God insists upon the people. Say unto them, As I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel? Ezekiel 33 verse 11. The situation worsens with each passing year. The time for God to bring deliverance is very near. The attitudes and events that Jesus foretold as a sign of his presence and the termination of the system of things are clearly in evidence. Will there be an end to it? Yes, there will be. What God did with the ancient Sodom and Gomorrah clearly shows that in his due time he will execute judgment. He will utterly destroy the wicked, but deliver his loyal servants. Thank you for watching until the end. We hope you learned something about the Bible today. Help us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel and sharing. Until the next video, may the peace of God be with you.